My name is Bob. I'm 86 years old. I was putting away groceries this morning when I found a can of chickpeas in the back of the cupboard. Expired 4 years ago. I stood there holding it, and I thought, I let her go that easily. Like something I meant to deal with later. Like something I assumed would always be there. Her name was Marion. I've been alive long enough to know that some stories don't have happy endings. I've been to enough funerals. I've watched enough people disappear from my life. But this one I gave away. I didn't fight for it. I didn't even raise my voice. I keep thinking that should make it easier. That because it was my choice, I'd have some kind of peace with it. But it doesn't work that way. Marion and I met when I was 31. She worked at the library downtown. I'd go in on Saturdays to read the newspaper because I didn't want to pay for a subscription. That's the kind of thing you do when you're young and broke and trying to feel responsible. She had this way of shelving books, very precise. She'd tilt her head slightly to make sure the spines were flush. I watched her do that for 3 months before I said anything to her. When I finally did speak, I asked her about a book I had no intention of reading, some mystery novel. She recommended 2 others. I checked out all 3 and never read a single page, but I came back the next week. We got married 2 years later. Small ceremony. Her mother cried. My father didn't come. We didn't care. We had a little apartment above a bakery, and on Sunday mornings the smell of bread would come up through the floorboards. That was 1971. I worked at an insurance firm. Marion stayed at the library. We didn't have much, but we had routines. Friday nights we'd sit on the couch and she'd read while I did crosswords. We'd go to bed around 10. She'd fall asleep first, always. I thought that's what love was. Steadiness, predictability, not fireworks, not drama, just showing up. And I did show up, every day, for 23 years. I don't remember exactly when things started to feel different. It wasn't one moment. It was more like a slow dimming, the way a room loses light as the sun sets, and you don't notice until you realize you've been sitting in the dark. She started talking less, or maybe I started listening less. I don't know. There were whole evenings where we'd sit together and not say a word. I told myself that was comfortable, that we'd moved past needing to fill the silence. But I think she was trying to tell me something, and I wasn't paying attention. She started going to bed earlier. Then she started volunteering at the library on weekends. Then she joined a book club. I didn't ask her about any of it. I thought I was giving her space. I thought that's what a good husband does. One night she came home late from the book club. I was watching television. She stood in the doorway and said, "Do you even miss me when I'm gone?" I looked up at her and said, "You were only gone a couple hours." She didn't say anything after that. She just went to the bedroom. I should have known right then, but I didn't. Or maybe I did, and I didn't want to deal with it. I don't know any more. A few months later, she told me she wanted to talk. We sat at the kitchen table. She had her hands folded in front of her, and I remember thinking how small they looked. She said she wasn't happy. She said she felt like she was disappearing. She said she loved me, but she didn't know if that was enough anymore. I sat there. I didn't argue. I didn't ask her to stay. I didn't ask what I could do differently. I just said, okay. She moved out 3 weeks later, took her books, her clothes, the lamp from her side of the bed. I helped her carry boxes to the car. I remember she cried when she hugged me goodbye. I didn't. I thought I was being mature. I thought I was respecting her decision. I thought letting her go without a fight meant I loved her enough to let her be free. But the truth is, I was afraid. I was afraid that if I asked her to stay, she'd say no. And then I'd have to live with knowing I wasn't enough. So I let her go, quietly, without fighting. She sent me a Christmas card that first year. Just a card, nothing written inside except her name. I didn't send one back. I don't know why. Maybe I thought it would be easier if we just stopped. I heard from a mutual friend that she moved to Vermont, that she started teaching at a small college, that she seemed happy. I told myself I was happy for her. I'm 86 now. Marion would be 83. I don't know where she is. I don't know if she's still alive. I've thought about looking her up. I've typed her name into the computer a few times, but I never hit enter. Because what would I even say? I think about that night at the kitchen table a lot. I think about how she sat there, asking me for something without asking, how she was giving me a chance, how she was telling me that things could still change if I wanted them to. And I said okay. I let her walk out the door because I was too scared to be vulnerable, too proud to beg, too convinced that love shouldn't require effort. But love does require effort. It requires showing up even when it's uncomfortable. It requires saying the things that are hard to say. It requires fighting sometimes, not with anger, but with honesty, with desperation, with the willingness to say, I don't want to lose you. I never said that. I've thought about what I would say if I could go back. If I could sit at that table again, I'd tell her I was sorry. I'd tell her I got lazy. I'd tell her I took her for granted because I thought she'd always be there, like the couch, like the bakery downstairs, like the Sunday mornings. I'd tell her I didn't know how to fight for something I thought I already had. I'd tell her I was scared. I'd ask her to stay. I'd ask her to help me do better. I'd ask her what she needed, and I'd actually listen. But I can't go back. I still have the chickpea can. I don't know why I kept it. It's sitting on the counter right now. I keep thinking I should throw it away, but I haven't. Maybe because it reminds me that some things do expire, that you can't just leave them in the cupboard and assume they'll be good when you're finally ready to use them. I don't know if Marion thinks about me. I don't know if she regrets leaving or if she's grateful she did. I hope she found what she was looking for. I really do. But I also hope, I don't know. I hope she knows I think about her. I hope she knows that letting her go wasn't because I didn't care. It was because I cared so much that I couldn't bear the thought of failing her if I tried, which is a stupid reason, I know. But it felt true at the time. I'm 86 years old. I've lived in this same house for 40 years. I still sleep on my side of the bed. I still do the crossword on Friday nights. And I still think about a woman who asked me to fight for her and I didn't. Not because I didn't love her, but because I didn't love myself enough to believe I could be what she needed. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Maybe because I'm running out of time to say it. Maybe because I think someone out there needs to hear it. Maybe because I just needed to say her name out loud again, Marion. If you're watching this, I don't know. Maybe think about the people in your life, the ones you're taking for granted, the ones who are trying to tell you something and you're not listening. Maybe don't wait as long as I did. That's all. Thank you for listening.